Hi, I'm Kevin Klein, City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, and Westwood. On Friday, March 1st, the budget was dropped at the City of Winnipeg, and at that time, we made a promise to you to put together an advisory group that had accountants on it, business leaders, not-for-profit leaders, and to take the time to drill down into the budget and provide you with facts and information, more information and more facts than you've ever had before, because after all, it's your money that we're spending. And I truly did set out to provide positive alternatives and suggestions that would make our city function better, that may have the ability to lessen the impact on our taxpayers. That's you, right? That's what we're here for, and that's why we were elected. I made a promise to my community, to the people who elected me, to make decisions based on information and facts, and not on emotion or not to simply follow the leader. And I remain committed towards finding and offering alternatives and positive suggestions that really will improve our financial system, that I'm hoping will lessen the financial burden on you today and on our kids in the future and their kids. And I'd like the system, our budget system that is, to be more transparent and open for every councillor. Every councillor was elected by somebody in the City of Winnipeg, and they deserve to have the same access and same consideration as anybody else. Every vote should count. Every vote should count. To quote our mayor, Brian Bowman, he said this a couple of days regarding the provincial budget that is going to come out. There will be programs and numbers used that will require months, if not years, of questions to get answers on what it all means. And I agree, because I share that sentiment when it comes to the Winnipeg budget for 2019. There are many areas within the 2019 budget where costs are aggregated in various categories with insufficient detail, if any at all, and transparency, if any at all, to properly analyze the 2019 over $1 billion budget. We're talking about a lot of money, and they give us not very much time to review it. When we ask questions, we do get answers in some respect, but it's that 30,000-foot level. Well, we did that because we had a change here, we have to do that. But we're not comparing apples to apples. I have to be clear. You can see what I see online. It's at it's at winnipeg.ca under budget. We're comparing the 2019 budget, which we're told is this is the budget, and we're comparing it to the 2018 budget. Not actuals, not facts. That was a proposed financial plan, and this is a proposed financial plan. And they're very similar. They've moved some money around to different categories, but very similar in the end. However, spending is up. Operational expense is up, not just because of wages. I set out on March 1st to enlist the assistance of a resident advisory group that was more focused and experienced in the financial world. It included some CFOs, it included accountants and others. And I enlisted them to help me, review the budget, to get some different insight to that budget. That group quickly came back with the same realizations. How can we do this? Because there's not nearly enough information, and nor is there nearly enough time to provide you an accurate and honest look of a $1 billion budget. These are experts in the field. This is what they're saying. Here's just a few things, and the media did cover this a little bit, but then, I want to give you all the points, some of the really ones that stick out to me. The first one being, of course, our spending is up. Nobody's talking about that. We don't get a chance to see actuals, so we don't know what departments are actually spending. We don't know what the reality is. I mean, we could be, padding these numbers. The other question that really comes up is, and we all have to ask this, is this truly a balanced budget? We're operating many departments and entities within the City of Winnipeg at annual operating deficits that are just not sustainable. They're losing money, but we're still continuing to run them. We haven't made any adjustments. We haven't made any corrections. We're taking money from our stabilization fund to balance the budget. Stabilization fund is kind of like, it's our rainy day fund if something goes bad. Is it raining that bad that we have to take that money and put it into our 2019 budget? The Winnipeg Parking Authority, as another example, has budgeted to transfer approximately $9 million over to general revenues and to land operating reserves as well in 2019. However, if you look, they're going to be running at a deficit after that. And one has to ask, what's the rationale of running at a deficit? If you're going to transfer the money, if you're going to transfer profit, let's say, over to general revenues, fantastic. Let's talk about that. And I think that's something we can do, or you can find a way to do that. But just to move it and then run the department at a loss makes no sense to me. The city continues to invest large amounts of capital into projects that appear to be underutilized. I mean, we should, as good money stewards, evaluate each project, and determine the need, the use, the viability. Like, is it getting more people or less people? Do you want to see more of that, or do you not care about that? Is the facilities costing us money, or is it not costing us? All these questions we never ask. We have no idea about, and you deserve to know. The cost of service at Water and Waste increased by $7 million between 2017 and 2018. I don't know if we added any more services. So that's a question I'm going to be asking them later on. Well, the dividend that we've been taking from Water and Waste for I think almost 11 years, did drop by 1%, which, you know what? It's a step forward. It's not nearly enough, especially when we're saying we need to get $2 billion to fix the North End treatment plant. But because we lowered the dividend by 1%, you would expect the expenses in that department to go up. And they go up year after year after year after year. And we're going to borrow money to cover those expenses. Yet we're taking money from their profit. We're taking millions from that. And then in 2020, if you look through the budget that's online, we're all going to get hit with a massive water and sewer increase. Massive water and sewer increase. Vacancy management is a big concern, and I'm sure you've heard many people talk about that. And myself, growing up through the ranks in business and such, from become a manager, become a director, and I became a CEO, I was taught by a lot of very successful people and mentors of mine that vacancy management is bad management. And I'm sure you can appreciate this. If you can operate without a position being filled for a long period of time, why are we budgeting for that position? So that means that we're saying we need these, let's call them 200 positions. Nobody's working there right now. They probably haven't been there for a couple of years. But we're budgeting them so we have a cushion that we can take from, so we can say at the end of the day, oh, we have a balanced budget or we have a surplus. But we're going to charge you to pay for them. You're going to have to pay that on your taxes because we've budgeted for that. This is not the right way to do that. If you can live without a position for 6 months to a year, you no longer need that position. Now, if it's a position that creates revenue, if it goes out and it generates revenue for the city, that's a different discussion. We should be having that conversation because the more money the city can generate, the less property tax we should be charging you. So again, something else to look at. I think you have to be weary of the hype. And I understand that. Everyone wants to put out the positive attitude and be positive about it, but it's time to be real. I'm sorry. It's time to be real. And some of the hype is overblown. We are not the lowest property taxes in the city. If you look at the slide that is in the budget, they openly say, which is fantastic and the right thing to do, that the number is based on, is created by the city of Winnipeg, and it's the median. Well, the median can be any number. It's just a number that you could put a whole bunch of numbers on the table and you pick the one in the middle, and that's the median. But that's not going to be accepted by the experts. It just wouldn't be accepted by them. The best way to do it, or the most accurate, fair way, Global News just did this recently, is to base the property taxes on a $1,000 of assessed value, because the value of a home is different across Canada. We know that, but the assessed value is pretty much the same. That's what you're paying your taxes on. Because, for example, a $300,000 home in Winnipeg could be a $1 million home in Toronto. So let's look at the $1,000 assessed value. So for Winnipeg, we come in at $12.15 per $1,000 of assessed value. That makes us the highest in the country, just above Hamilton. The average in Canada, about $8 per $1,000 of assessed value. Is that the perfect way? I'm not going to say it's the perfect way, but I am going to say that we need to look at things differently. It's okay to change things up. Let's consider different facts. Let's look at it again, but let's not convince people that we have the lowest property taxes in the country and we are doing fantastic. We're going to keep it at this level. We're spending too much. Our debt is up 35%. 35% since 2012. We are almost at our debt ceiling. So that means our credit card could get declined, in essence. That would tell me we have to control spending. We're spending your money, so we have to control it. At the end of the day, that really is what we see from what we're given. I mean, we can't know for sure, and I have to be honest with you about that. It's very disappointing because you have a right to know. Your vote counts. You should have all the information. That should be right there for you to see, or at least you should be able to call in and get that answer. I respect the city staff. I have no doubt that they're working very hard to meet a very tight deadline for the budget. It has to be passed. But the mayor and his committee, which is, makes up enough people to pass the budget anyways, has work to do, and I understand that. And that's not my concern. My concern is not about like groupings and being at this table or being with what I call the cool kids. The reality is what we're paying in taxes. And I made a promise to taxpayers. And my concern is now, what do I tell them? I promised to provide alternatives and suggestions to improve the city's financial state. I promised to be a good money steward on their behalf. I don't have the ability to do that. I can't, in good conscience, say that this is a budget we should be considering. I'm trying. I'm asking questions. I'm putting it out there, and I get the same, kind of answers back. Like if you ask your mom or dad something, they go, "Oh, that's okay. You just here's your answer," and you walk away. Look, we're given less than 15 days in reality to review what really is not a budget, to ask questions that really we have no say on, and they won't give us the real facts or the like. Just give me last year's actuals. Let me go from there. And I know we can do better, and I'm hoping we can do better. This process is very disappointing. The residents I represent, that I think all council represents, deserve open and complete communication of the budget. You're paying for it. You need to know everything. It is your money. And I think I have a good working relationship with Mayor Bowman. I hope that we'll be able to all sit down and talk about moving forward, because I know they're talking about introducing 5-year budgets. No, not like this. Not like this. We have much more work to do before you want your civic government to say, here's your 5-year budget plan. You need to get involved in that. I look forward to working together with Mayor Bowman and his committee. I'd like to see it done differently. I'd like to see that part of it, the committee stuff, done differently. Because I really do think we all want the same thing. We want what's best for the residents and the community that we represent, and we want what's best for the city of Winnipeg. And I think we all want what's best for the future of Winnipeg. And that's what's most important. That's what I want. And I'm pretty sure everybody here does too. So I hope that we can get to that point. I'm going to try to bring you more budget information along the way, but I'll be honest again, there's not much in there. There's not much for me to tell you. If you have any questions, please send them to us. You can put them on Twitter. You can put them on Facebook. You can put them on Instagram, LinkedIn. You can email us, kevinkay@kevinklein.ca. Let's get more involved. Well, hopefully you'll get more involved with the budget process. Some fun news coming up soon, so please make sure you always check back. Have a great day.